Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
An early morning crash leaves 2 people dead in Castle Hills area. What police say happened.
Plus, after 2 kids almost drowned in an icy pond, they lived to meet their rescuers. This heartwarming story ahead in your morning headlines with David Sears.
Briscoe Elementary School students are learning from local architects and creating very interesting projects. Coming up, how it's having an impact on the students.
Hi, good morning. It is Thursday, January 13th.
We have a live look here at Washington, D.C. this morning. President Biden expects to address the nation during this newscast. There is the White House. He expected to discuss the latest steps being taken to combat the Omicron variant of COVID-19.
ABC News will carry this as a special report around 9:30 a.m. So during this newscast, we'll keep you posted.
Let's go outside with live cam. We were in the 30s this morning again. I know we have another big cool down scheduled this weekend. Here's Justin.
Yeah, we're starting to warm up. Today is going to be just awesome. Today and tomorrow, we're going to see some beautiful weather. Temperatures in the 70s, lots of sun. It does change a little bit this weekend. We get another cold front, and unfortunately, it doesn't bring any rain, but it does bring some cooler temperatures and some gusty winds. Right now, 45 degrees at the airport, 35 Kerrville, 38 in Uvalde, 39 in Carrizo Springs. So still a little bit of a chill in the air right now. That doesn't last much longer. You look at the next 3 days, we're in the 70s today, tomorrow. Saturday, that's where we see the changes back into the 50s, along with those gusty winds, as I mentioned. Let's look at the pollen count. It's in, and mountain cedar still in the moderate category, but not a bad number considering we're right at where we would expect the peak of mountain cedar season to be. 470, molds are low. They came down from yesterday, 310. Your forecast for today, 67 noontime, 72 by 2 p.m., 74 by 4 p.m. Sunny skies. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Just checked. We've got the drought monitor in. That's going to be an important factor considering we're seeing some of those gusty winds this weekend. We'll take a look at that here in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. A quick look at the roads with TransSky. There's a look there at I-35 at Randolph. Things are moving right now. Stephen Cavazos had a busy morning earlier today, but it looks like things are okay at this point.
Speaking of the roads, some late breaking news this morning. Police in Castle Hills say a man and woman involved in a crash early this morning both have died.
It happened on the ramp from eastbound Loop 410 to Military. Katrina Weber has the story from Castle Hills Police Headquarters and says there's a lot of investigators that they still don't know.
Castle Hills police say this is a case that's puzzling to them in more ways than one. They say not only do they not know what went wrong behind the wheel, but they're trying to figure out who those 2 people are. Neither of them had ID. Police say the man was the driver of a pickup, the only vehicle involved in the crash. They suspect he may have fallen asleep or wasn't paying attention when he lost control before 5:30 this morning, then slammed into a concrete barrier at Loop 410 and Military. Officers arriving spotted him right away, unconscious in the driver's seat. They were surprised to also find a passenger who had fallen beneath the dashboard. Firefighters had to free both of them from the wreckage, although police say they were not wearing seatbelts. They were rushed to a hospital. As police conducted their investigation, they would learn that things had taken a deadly turn, that the 2 people in the pickup did not survive. Police say another thing that is stumping them is why neither of those people was wearing a seatbelt. Reporting from Castle Hills, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Just into our newsroom, Comal ISD has canceled classes next Tuesday. Students are out of school Monday for the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. They'll now also be out on Tuesday.
We will have more about this on the news at noon. But again, Comal ISD students out next Tuesday, returning Wednesday. And here's today's 9 at 9. Voting rights are front and center on Capitol Hill today with 2 bills up for consideration. The Freedom to Vote Act looks to make Election Day a public holiday and allow voting by mail, among other things. The second bill is focused on strengthening the 1965 Voting Rights Act, forbidding racial discrimination in voting. Both are likely to pass the House, but stall in the gridlocked Senate.
Today, President Biden is expected to announce that federal assistance is on the way for 6 states with hospitals overwhelmed by COVID patients. Texas is not one of those states. The president will also discuss steps being taken to address the surge in Omicron cases around the country.
Starting Saturday, cruise lines will no longer be required to follow COVID-19 guidance outlined by the CDC. The conditional sailing order that was extended in October expires this weekend. meaning masking, social distancing, and vaccination requirements would be solely up to the cruise lines.
The Rust movie Armorer is suing the film's gun and ammo supplier after a fatal shooting on the set in October. Anna Gutierrez-Reed points the finger at PDQ Arm and Prop Store, claiming the owner sold her dummy ammo with live rounds mixed in.
If prices seem high, you're right. Inflation hit a 39-year high in 2021. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that inflation jumped 7% in the 12 months ending in December. That's the steepest climb in prices since June of 1982. The Federal Reserve plans multiple interest rate hikes this year to help fight inflation.
The IRS warning this year's tax season could be full of hurdles. Treasury Department says pandemic-related issues and budget constraints may lead to delayed tax refunds. Experts say file early and try to do it electronically for the quickest return.
Fees for bounced checks could soon be a thing of the past for Bank of America, the latest major financial institution to announce that it's ending fees for insufficient funds. It also plans to cut overdraft fees from $35 to $10. Bank of America says the end of the bounced check fee goes into effect next month.
Broadway is off to a rough start in the new year. Sales were down 31% the first week of 2022. The Omicron variant forcing some shows to close and delaying a handful of others. Mask and vaccine requirements have been extended through April.
Girl Scout cookie season is upon us, and this year they have a new cookie available. They are called Adventurefuls. The Girl Scouts website describes the cookie as, quote, an indulgent brownie-inspired cookie with caramel-flavored cream and a hint of sea salt. Cookies are available through April, and that's today's 9 at 9.
And a reminder, President Biden will address the nation around 9:30 San Antonio time. We'll take that live right here on GMSA at 9. In your morning headlines, an update on that deadly crash over in Houston, and the survivor of a hit and run speaks out.
Utah police have some work to do when it comes to domestic violence and a reunion that will warm your heart on a cold day. David Sears is here to explain all of this. Morning.
One of the best stories of the year so far.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's how good it is. We'll have that for you in just a second. But first, let's start with this. You're looking at a deadly 7-car crash in Houston. That is a deputy sheriff's car right in the middle of it all. The deputy was chasing an armed robbery suspect last night. He came up to an intersection with lights flashing, sirens blaring, but he still ended up crashing into another car as he drove through the intersection. The woman driving that car was killed. There were 2 children in the car, 5 and 2. They were taken to the hospital, the oldest in critical condition. That crash caused a chain reaction. More cars involved, more people had to be taken to the hospital. The deputy's car caught on fire. Some bystanders ended up pulling him out of the burning car. He's expected to be okay. Houston police investigating. They're not exactly sure how the accident played out. They do know the armed robbery suspect got away. Another incredible accident in California. That is Lena Adams sitting up and talking, but she is lucky to be alive today. New Year's Eve, she was, along with other folks, shooting off fireworks in a street, a common hotspot for fireworks celebrations. But that night, a driver came down the street, yelled at the mother, and then ran her over. The video was stopped just before the woman was hit. The good news is she lived to tell about it.
If you can hit me so freely, what makes you think that you won't stop to hit somebody else or, take someone else's life? Maybe next time it'll be harder.
California Highway Patrol still searching for the car and the driver. Remember the story about Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, the young couple that was driving cross country? They were in Utah where a witness says they saw the two involved in a domestic dispute. Local police ended up pulling the van that they were in over. The officers were wrong in the way they handled the situation, according to an investigation. Petito admitted to hitting Laundrie. One of the officers said she should be taken to jail since she admitted to starting things, but the couple objected. The officers eventually agreed to let him go if they would spend the night apart. The independent investigation concluded that the officers should have pressed charges. A couple of weeks later, Petito's body was found in Wyoming, and then weeks after that, Laundrie was found dead in his home state of Florida at a nature reserve with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The department says they will implement some of the recommendations that came out of that investigation, including more domestic violence training. At the time, officers weren't aware that they had done anything wrong. A warm reunion after a pretty cold experience for 6-year-old Tashira Williams. Earlier in the week, we told you about the 6-year-old and 2 siblings falling into a pond behind their apartment. A neighbor, Dusty Talavera, went into the frigid water to save the little girl from drowning. Another neighbor got a rope, pulled them both out. When she got to shore, police and EMTs went to work because she wasn't breathing. And you were looking at body cam footage at the first responders doing what they had to do to get her breathing again. Last night, they had a reunion. All the lifesavers and a little girl and her family coming together to celebrate what they are calling a miracle.
When I seen them on the video performing their duties, you could see the passion and emotion in them by what they were saying. Come on, baby, yes, come on, sweetheart, come on. Like they were talking to their own children.
I just believe everybody played a very crucial role in this incident. A lot of quick reaction from everybody's part that it boggled my mind.
It's a very happy ending, and I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, and I'm so glad it did. I'm so glad it did.
Thank you for everybody for saving me.
Thank you, everybody, saving me.
It is a happy ending.
How beautiful was that? Absolutely fantastic. And they're all our children in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
No adult would not jump in at that particular time and save that child. That'd be great.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
That's awesome stuff.
All
Beautiful.
Right. Thank you, David.
All right.
Right now, 9:09, about 46 degrees, still ahead on GMSA at 9.
A live look at the White House. President Biden expected to address the nation on the latest steps being taken to combat the Omicron variant gripping the nation. That report expected to begin at 9:30 this morning. We're going to break into coverage when it begins.
But first, we take you to Briscoe Elementary, where Tiffany Huertas has details on a partnership between local architects and students. Just about 9:13, a group of local elementary school students are part of a unique program where they are learning from local architects to create workspaces throughout their school.
And for months, the Briscoe Elementary School students have been meeting with the architects to make their vision come to life.
Tiffany Huertas joins us live from Briscoe Elementary with more. Tiffany, what are students learning from this project?
Good morning. They're learning a lot. They're learning math, reading, writing, and art skills. Just check it out. These are just some of the examples of the workspaces that they're going to be building throughout the school. These are spaces where kids can learn and hang out outside the classroom. To talk more about this is head of school Jennifer Emerson, and we have 2 bright students, Jenna and Marcus. Good morning. Jennifer, talk to us first about how this partnership started.
So the partnership started whenever we realized there were unutilized spaces in the school. And so we reached out to our partners, SMART and Alamo Architects, and they, along with our students, have been collaborating weekly, every Friday, to go through the whole design process to create these wonderful, collaborative, creative spaces for students to work.
And Jenna, I know you wanted to share with us your project. Let's talk over there about what you are working on.
We're working on filling up the spaces, and we're going to do an animation project. We have a little bench with cushions so you can feel comfortable, curtains so it can just be private, and a carpet so you can feel relaxed and start reading.
So that behind you is a poster of the hallway.
Yes.
And this is a design of what it will look like later?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk to us about what's inside?
Inside there's going to be bookshelves, books, cushions, and relaxation carpets.
What's been your favorite part about designing this?
You can be artful in any kind of way.
Awesome. I love all the animations. And Marcus, talk to us about your design.
So what I wanted to do here is make a abstract place where kids can be creative and draw and basically express their ideas here. And if any kids want to hang some of their pictures on here, they can. And I just wanted it to make it exciting for kids to draw and be creative.
And has it been difficult, the process?
Not really. It was really easy to do. I just wanted to make kids feel excited to come to school.
It looks like a fun space. So this whiteboard, and then we have a chalkboard?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Is this somewhere that you'll hang out?
Yeah, sometimes.
So this would be a transformed hallway.
Yes.
Awesome. And Jennifer, talk to us about what the impact this is having on the kids.
So the impact is that kids have voice and choice, and they're advocating for their school. This is their space, and the long-term effects of this are going to be in any decisions they make. They'll be able to advocate for themselves and really go out and change the world.
And this is teaching them about different career opportunities, of course.
Yes, working with architects, working with artists. It's giving them many options.
Awesome, fantastic. And Jenna, I know you wanted to show us your dance skills because you're so excited to be here on our show this morning. Show us what we're working with here. If that doesn't bring a smile to your face, I don't know what is. Look how cool. This is just such a cool design, cool project, and just a cool school. Back to you guys.
Oh my goodness, she was on it.
Yes,
she did a great job.
She was.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Tiffany Huertas live over at Briscoe Elementary. Justin joins us now with more on a warm-up. Boy, it turned out nice yesterday, Justin.
It did. By the way, my kids have tried to teach me the
yeah, I
Still
can't do
get
it. I think it's maybe it's a kid thing or something.
It is.
Yeah.
Well done, by the way.
Maybe we'll have to check your progress on air sometime.
Nope.
I know that won't happen.
No. Beautiful. You're right, though, Mark. Yesterday turned out nice once those clouds cleared out, and today's going to be equally as beautiful. Not so nice, though, is the lack of rainfall. Let's look at the drought monitor. This just came in this morning. And how do we interpret this map? Well, the areas in yellow technically aren't droughts, just sort of a precursor. That tells us we're getting close to drought. Those areas in orange and red, that is drought. And once you get into the reds and sort of maroon colors, that's where we know the drought is really bad. Really bad up across parts of the Texas Panhandle. We're starting to see that along the border, out across West Texas. And this just keeps increasing every week. Last week, 80% of the state was in drought. This week, it's 82%. So we just keep stepping up here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. And it's Cotulla, Pearsall, Tilden, over to Carrizo Springs, where the drought is really starting to take hold for us locally. Here in San Antonio, we're still just within the abnormally dry territory. But again, it's any time now that we start to see the drought creep back into Bexar County as well. Let's check in on Medina Lake. It's still not doing very well. 26% full. It's down 47 feet. 3-month change, it's down over 3 feet. Still falling at this point. Okay, so we get a cold front coming in on Saturday. We would like to say it would bring some rain and help us out. It does not. All it does is bring wind. So that's where we start to get concerned here. You just saw the drought map. We've got dry conditions. We haven't had rain good rain in about 2 months or so. And so there is going to be a fire concern here once this front moves through, I think, out west. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But this next cold front scheduled for pre-dawn Saturday. So we're talking midnight to about 3 a.m. Southern counties 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Temperatures are going to fall into the 50s. We'll get some gusts, wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour potentially, and then we may see a freeze Sunday morning. So just a heads up there. In the meantime, beautiful weather. We've got 45 degrees at the airport, 47 Stinson, 52 Kelly, 45 at Randolph. 30s and 40s, then a few 50s mixed in there around the area right now. 45 Canyon Lake, but it is up to 52 now, Port SA, 45 in Divine. You'll see these numbers rise pretty quickly when the air is dry as it is. Dew points really low, but they get even lower as we get into Saturday with that front. This is just another component. We get the gusty winds, lack of rainfall, but you got the very dry air. That also contributes to that potential for fire threat. As we look across the country, you got a little bit of snow up across the northeast and trough there. Now the pattern changes a little bit, and we're looking at the upper level pattern here. Tomorrow afternoon, we start to see a system developing here across the middle part of the country. We're still warm in the mid-70s, but this system dives south, pushes that cold air south, pushes that cold front through. 57 on Saturday, that's probably our high temperature. And then as this system moves east, it finally taps into some moisture. It doesn't bring us rain, but it will bring rain and snow to parts of the East Coast. Could turn into a big snowstorm. In the wake of that system, there are those winds, 45 mile per hour wind gusts potentially on Saturday. So that will be our windy day. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few gusts higher than that. So here's your extended forecast. 57, as we mentioned, Saturday. We drop down to 30 Sunday morning, so possible freeze. But temperatures do rebound nicely. 67 on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and then 70s Tuesday and Wednesday, guys.
A cold weekend.
Yes.
Thank you, Justin.
Right now, 9:20, about 48 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA at 9, a debrief with the KSAT Explains team about their new episodes streaming right now.
A new year means a new season of our streaming show, KSAT Explains. This show takes one topic, it goes in depth, giving it more context and perspective.
KSAT Explains producer Lexi Salazar and host of the show, Myra Arthur, have a preview of the team's brand new episode.
We are coming to you from a very busy KSAT newsroom as well as Zoom to talk about our first episode of 2022 and the brand new season. Our focus is immigration here. Just that word probably brings about a lot of strong opinions and strong emotions for people. No matter where you stand, you can't forget the images because we know that South Texas has certainly been impacted. The thousands of migrants we saw in Del Rio last fall gathered under a bridge, most of them seeking asylum. In this episode, we're not going to focus on ways to fix U.S. immigration policy. We're going to talk about what is on the books right now. How does U.S. law treat someone who comes to the country seeking asylum? And Lexi, we know that that has gotten even more complicated because of the pandemic.
Right, as you mentioned, it's a system that is already complicated, but the pandemic, as it has done with everything, has further complicated the immigration system. So a lot of this episode, we really focus on something called Title 42. Title 42 is something that I think a lot of people had not heard about prior to March 2020. Basically what it is it is a little known provision in U.S. federal law that says the government can ban goods and people from entering if it's to prevent the spread of disease. So we talked to Erica Schomer. She is a professor at St. Mary's University Law School. She's also a practicing immigration law attorney. And she told us a little bit how this provision has completely thrown a wrench into the asylum system in the United States right now.
Under that authority, a directive was issued essentially saying we are not going to process people who want to request asylum. We can expose our Border Patrol agents to doing that.
And so, as you might imagine, that of course has thrown a wrench into the immigration system, and it has caused a lot of problems for people who want to come to the United States to claim asylum. We know that since March 2020, more than 1 million people have been expelled under Title 42, many of those who came to this country wanting to seek asylum.
We're also going to talk about why the backlog of immigration court cases existed long before the pandemic. We know COVID-19 complicated that and made that backlog even more severe, but there was a problem before March of 2020. So we're talking about some of the reasons that created that issue and looking really at how U.S. law treats someone who comes into the country illegally asking for asylum versus someone who is not seeking that kind of protection. So you can check out this new episode of our brand new season online right now, ksat.com/explains. Watch it on demand. Also, you can find it on the KSAT TV app. Season 6 of KSAT Explains is now underway.
And the time now is 9:27. There's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
And we head back to the nation's capital. Live look at the Capitol Hill right now. President Biden expected to address the nation on the latest steps being taken to combat the Omicron variant of COVID-19. That report is expected in a matter of minutes. We're monitoring and we'll break into ABC's special coverage. We'll be right back. We are still waiting on ABC's special coverage of President Biden's speech to the nation. Top stories we're following in the meantime. We have an update to a story we told you about yesterday on GMSA.
We now know the name of a man killed in a rollover crash. Police say 18-year-old Michael Grosvenor was killed when he lost control of his vehicle in the 3500 block of Wiseman on the west side. Officers tell us he crashed into a tree, causing his vehicle to roll several times.
He was thrown from the vehicle and died there at the scene. Law enforcement say he was speeding.
A scary scene for two women who were rescued from a burning vehicle.
This all unfolded around 3 o'clock this morning on the northwest side on West Hildebrand near Fredericksburg Road. Police say the car jumped a couple of curbs and landed in the parking lot of an urgent care clinic. The car was engulfed in flames when first responders arrived on scene.
The driver and passenger were both pulled from the vehicle and firefighters were able to quickly put out the flames. The driver refused medical attention and the passenger was detained after police say she was acting up.
At this time, police are saying distracted driving is likely what led to the crash.
A woman is charged with aggravated kidnapping for her part in tying up and beating a couple.
According to an arrest report, 29-year-old Juanita Rosa, along with 2 other people, tied up the man and woman.
At one point, the man was able to break free, but Rosa allegedly hit him in the knees and ribs with a stick, and he was tied up again. The man was eventually able to escape.
Outside with live cam, back to Justin Horn, now up to about 50 degrees.
Yeah, it is warming up quickly. It's going to turn into a pretty warm day. The lows this morning, we did drop into the 30s. No freezing temperatures here around San Antonio. Some places in the Hill Country did touch freezing briefly. Let's look at some of those numbers. 36 here in San Antonio. Did get down to 32 Boerne Stage, 28 Kerrville, 31 in Hondo. So a chilly morning. But as I mentioned, again, things are warming up nicely at this hour. Let's take a look at the time lapse. And I'll show you right there, actually on the horizon. If you look closely, there's a little layer of smoke right there. That's probably a house fire from earlier this morning. We have a little bit of an inversion, traps the smoke. It kind of just moves horizontally there across the screen. It's kind of interesting to see. Otherwise, we got clear skies. 45 degrees right now, and temperatures in the mid-40s. New Braunfels, Boerne Stage up to 52 after that chilly number this morning. 48 Devine, 43 in Hondo, and mid-40s out west as well. Our forecast for today, we'll take it up to about 74. Sunny skies, northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Even warmer tomorrow before our cold front arrives Saturday. More on that forecast coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Justin. A look at I-35 at Randolph. Things are moving and it looks nice outside.
The San Antonio City Council voting today on a proposed rate hike from CPS Energy that will have an effect on your wallet or purse if it is approved.
RJ Marquez joins us in the studio to break down what this means for CPS Energy customers. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Obviously, a lot of people paying attention to this, and City Council A session started about a half hour ago, so we are following this right now as it's going along, and council members are expected to vote on a proposed 3.85% rate increase that was unanimously approved by the CPS Energy Board of Trustees earlier this week. Several people have questions about this, so here's a little bit of what this all means. If approved, CPS Energy estimates the average electric and gas customer would see around a $5 increase to their monthly bill, which is about a 3.3% impact. But of course, that depends on the amount of power and gas that you use. Some customers who use, let's say, 2,000 kilowatts of power and more natural gas could see an increase of about $9 every month. Ultimately, this is an increase to the base rate and fuel adjustment charge. So what is this proposed increase all for? Officials say the proposal is about covering immediate financial pressures. The increase to the base rate is expected to generate $73 million more every year for the utility, which it says would be used for making infrastructure improvements for extreme weather, like we saw with that freeze last year, replacing old computer systems, and a staffing shortage. This would also cover, over the next 25 years, a total of $418 million that CPS Energy has already paid out for costs during that winter freeze that we saw last February. This increase is actually much less than a previous proposal in September of 11% overall. And finally, when will this all go into effect? That, of course, is a key question here. If City Council approves this rate hike today, the new rates would start on March 1st. And a few other notes, guys. It's been 8 years since CPS Energy customers had a rate hike increase, but we could see some more base rate increases in 2025 and 2027. And one more thing, if City Council does not approve this rate hike, it could severely affect CPS Energy's bond rating. And we have much more information on KSAT.com. Garrett Berger has a much more comprehensive breakdown of all of this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff there, guys.
It is. Thank you, RJ.
A lot of different numbers and figures, but again, go to KSAT.com and you could get a lot more information of how this all really kind of plays out.
All right, more coverage as this plays out there at City Council. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
RJ.
guys.
Right now, 9:35, about 51 now. You're watching GMSA at 9.
And we are still waiting on an ABC News report, but RJ should be back here with a recap of the Spurs.
Well, we've been telling you for the last half hour or so, we are expecting an ABC News special report.
And they're ready now, so let's go ahead and listen in.
Them. And what we've heard so far from the White House is that they're still working out the details. They are finalizing contracts. We still don't have an answer to when the website will go up where Americans will be able to request those tests. And then this on top of this announcement that we're expected the president to make right now, that they're going to try to procure 500 million more to a total of 1 billion total tests so far. But all of this, of course, as these cases are rising, as Omicron is overrunning so many hospitals. And in addition to these tests and the questions this White House is now facing about when they will go out, you can see the medical team, Dr. Fauci and the defense secretary there joining into the room. The president's going to mention that they're sending these medical military personnel, as you said, to hospitals around the country.
Cecilia, our thanks to you. We'll get your reaction on the backside of this moment with the president who's expected to enter the room. There you see him on the left-hand side of your screen, joining the defense secretary and, as Cecilia pointed out, the medical team, his COVID response team at the White House. The president this morning talking about directing members of the military to help in this fight against COVID.
I want to begin by thanking the Secretary of Defense and our FEMA director for joining me today. We were joking earlier, we're really joking. When you need something done, call in the military and get FEMA, will make sure it gets done. Look, we're about to get a COVID-19 briefing from military and medical teams on the ground in Arizona, Michigan, and New York. They're part of a major deployment of our nation's armed forces to help hospitals across the country manage this surge of the Omicron virus. This surge is having an impact on hospitals. Like all healthcare workers, they are heroes, and I'm grateful for what they do. But before we begin, I want to provide an update on our fight against COVID-19 and announce new steps. First, the update. I know we're all frustrated as we enter this new year. Omicron variant is causing millions of cases and record hospitalizations. I've been saying that as we remain in this pandemic. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And I mean by this, right now, both vaccinated and unvaccinated people are testing positive. But what happens after that could not be more different. If vaccinated people test positive, they overwhelmingly have either no symptoms at all or they have mild symptoms. And if you're unvaccinated, if they test positive, you are 17 times more likely to get hospitalized. As a result, they're crowding our hospitals, leaving little room for anyone else who might have a heart attack or an injury in an automobile accident or any injury at all. And yes, the unvaccinated are dying from COVID-19. But here's the deal. Because we fully vaccinated nearly 210 million Americans, the majority of the country is safe from severe COVID-19 consequences. That's why even as the number of cases among the vaccinated Americans go up, deaths are down dramatically from last winter. For example, before its vaccination requirements, the United Airlines was averaging one employee dying a week from COVID-19. After implementing this requirement, it's led to 99% of its employees being vaccinated. United had 3,600 employees test positive, but 0 hospitalizations, 0 deaths in over 8 weeks. But as long as we have tens of millions of people who will not get vaccinated, we're going to have full hospitals and needless deaths. So the single most important thing to determine your outcome in this pandemic is getting vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, join the nearly 210 million American people who are vaccinated. If you are vaccinated, join the nearly 80 million Americans who have gotten the booster shot with the strongest protection possible. Vaccines are safe, they're free, and they're widely available. So do it today, please, for your sake, the sake of your kids, the sake of the country. Now, I don't like to, outline the next steps we're taking against. I'd like to outline the next steps we're taking against the Omicron variant. Vaccinations are obviously the most important thing we're doing, but they're not the only important thing. First, masking. Masking is an important tool to control the spread of COVID-19. And when you're indoors in public places, you should wear the mask. And there are a lot, there are lots of different kinds of masks out there. And the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, says that wearing a well-fitting mask of any of them is certainly better than not wearing a mask if it's well-fitting. What if over your nose? But it's about one third of Americans report they don't wear a mask at all. As I've said in the last 2 years, please wear a mask. If you're in I think it's part of your patriotic duty. It's not that comfortable. It's a pain in the neck. But I've taken every action I can as president to require people to wear masks in federal buildings and on airplanes and trains because they cross state lines. I've made sure that our doctors and nurses and first responders have the masks they need. Never again we're going to have our nurses using homemade masks and garbage bags over their clothing for hospitals because they don't have the gowns. We've more than tripled our stockpile of the most protective specialized N95 masks since coming into office. This is going to make sure that there will be an ample supply of healthcare workers and first responders. We also have helped make sure that high-quality masks are widely available in ample supply at affordable prices, sold online and in stores. But I know that for some Americans, the mask is not always affordable or convenient to get. So, next week we'll announce how we are making high-quality masks available to the American people for free. I know we all wish that we could finally be done with wearing masks. I get it. But they're a really important tool to stop the spread, especially of a highly transmittable Omicron variant. So please wear the mask. Second, testing. We're seeing real improvement in testing. When I got here, we were doing fewer than 2 million tests a day. Now, and it's changed, none of these tests were at home or rapid tests. This month, it's estimated that we will hit approximately 15 million tests a day, and we'll have over 375 million at-home rapid tests in January alone. That's a huge leap. We've taken a number of steps, including invoking the Defense Production Act as early as last February to ramp up production. And we're on track. We're on track to roll out a website next week where you can order free tests shipped to your home. And in addition to the 500 million, 500 million tests that are in the process of being acquired to ship to you homes for free, today I'm directing my team to procure an additional 500 million more tests to distribute for free. That means 1 billion tests in total to meet future demand. And we'll continue to work with the retailers and online retailers to increase availability. And for those who want an immediate test, we continue to add FEMA testing sites so that there are more free in-person testing sites. For those of you with insurance, you can get reimbursed for 8 tests a month. For those without insurance, we have over 20,000 free testing sites all around the country. You can find the nearest testing sites for you by Googling COVID test near me. Google COVID test near me. And to help lead our federal testing program, I've tapped Dr. Tom, I hope I pronounced it, Inglesby, correct? Is that right, Jeff? He's one of the world's leading infectious disease experts, and I'm grateful for his willingness to help tackle this challenge. Third thing, today we'll discuss our hospital response efforts. Just since Thanksgiving, over 800 military and other federal emergency personnel have been deployed to 24 states, tribes, and territories, including over 350 military doctors, nurses, and medics, helping staff the hospitals who are in short supply. This is on top of more than 14,000 National Guard members that are activated in 49 states. These deployments in my direction, and thanks to the American Rescue Plan, are fully paid for by the federal government. We've shipped over 5.5 million pieces of personal protective equipment, gloves, gowns, masks, to protect frontline healthcare workers. We're shipping more treatments of COVID-19, which includes antiviral pills, than at any point during this pandemic. In addition, I've directed FEMA to work with every state, territory, and the District of Columbia to make sure they have enough hospital bed capacity. Today, I'm announcing our next deployment of 6 additional federal medical teams, a total of more than 120 military medical personnel to 6 hard-hit states: Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Rhode Island. And let me close with this. It's been a long road, but what's clear as we get through this, when everybody does their part, no matter where you live, no matter your political party, we've got to fight this together. Unfortunately, while the military is stepping up, as they always do, there are others sitting on the sidelines, and we're standing in the way. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, do it. Personal choice impacts us all, our hospitals, our countries. I make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop. COVID-19 is one of the most formidable enemies America has ever faced. We've got to work together, not against each other. We're America. We can do this. So the military medical teams on the ground, thank you for all and everything you're doing. And I'll stop here so we can get to the briefing started. Thank you for taking the time.
President Biden there making news here this morning, announcing that 6 additional military medical teams are now headed out across the country to help hospitals that have been overloaded with COVID patients as the Omicron variant continues to surge in many parts of this country. Hospitals in New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Rhode Island, Michigan, and New Mexico will be getting that help, in addition to military personnel already fanned out across this country in this fight. 2 other points where he made news there a moment ago. He talked about next week they will announce how to make high-quality masks available to Americans for free. In the meantime, though, the president imploring that Americans please, he said, wear the mask, a tight-fitting mask over your nose in this fight against COVID across the country. He also talked about the test kits, saying a website will be up and running in the coming days in order to order that free at-home rapid test kit that the White House promised back in December. They said those would be coming in January. Now, in the coming days, they say there will be a website up and running where you can get a free rapid test kit sent to your home, in addition to those 500 million tests that were already promised. The president there promising another 500 million. That would bring the total to 1 billion rapid test kits free for the American people as we continue to fight this pandemic. Let's bring in our chief White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega. Cecilia, the president trying to signal to the country that this fight continues, and now more U.S. military medical help on the way.
And you're hearing what's now in the recent weeks, David, become a recurring refrain from this president, saying, quote, we're all frustrated. And America is frustrated as people are seeing their hospital rooms book up again. And it's so bad that the president is now having to deploy these military medical personnel. So we're talking just a little bit of a reality check here, though, in terms of the troops that are being deployed. Look at the numbers that we're looking at in terms of hospitalizations: 20,000 new hospitalizations a day, 1,000 hospitals currently reporting critical staffing shortages. So I think, the administration, in terms of the politics of this, wants to seem as though they are here and ready to help. I think on the ground, you're going to hear a lot of states around this country and hospital officials around this country raising their hand and saying, when is it our turn? Because we're talking about just 1,000 overall troops. This first batch is just going to 6 hospitals. On the masks, the White House is under increasing pressure right now to distribute these important N95 masks to American households around the country. In fact, we saw 2 Democrats publicly from Michigan, members of Congress, send a letter to the White House just yesterday asking President Biden to do more on this front and step in and have these masks, American masks, made and sent to American households. So he's even starting to feel the heat from within his own party. And on testing, we've been talking about this so much because it is so critical. The White House, the president saying today that, yes, they are going to push for this billion number of total at-home free tests to be procured. But the reality is they still haven't procured those first 500 million that they announced last month. They said that they will be starting to go out at some point this month. But here we have been pushing this White House for questions on this, David. They still are finalizing the contracts to have these tests made. And again, you just heard the president president say that website they will announce soon, and next week it will be up so that Americans can get on and request those tests. All of this, of course, coming as the president is right now, David, facing his lowest approval ratings when it comes to his handling of the pandemic as we speak.
Cecilia Vega live at the White House on the president here this morning saying additional military medical personnel being sent to a number of hospitals in the country. But as Cecilia points out, the numbers are overwhelming, obviously, but they won't be able to help all of the hospitals that we've been reporting in recent days and are now declaring at one hospital in particular in California that they're in disaster mode because of just simply the number of people now they're taking into the ICU. We'll continue to cover all of this, the rapid tests, the masks, how they'll become available in the coming days, at least that website next week. A bit later here on ABC News. We'll continue our coverage on ABC News Live, abcnews.com. Regular programming for many of you, that's GMA in the West, and I'll see you back here with the entire team later today for World News Tonight. I'm David Muir in New York. Good day.
And you just heard that special report from David Muir, and of course we're going to go ahead and get back with our programming at this point.
I believe we are going to take a break right now. Oh, apparently there's been a miscommunication about how we're going to do all of this.
Okay, sorry.
Can we bring Justin in here real quick?
Yes. Well, real quick, I wanted to wish Jamie a happy birthday.
Jamie, our director, Jamie?
Yes, it's her birthday today.
It's Jamie's birthday today?
Yes, she was trying to be sneaky about it.
Oh, happy birthday,
And
Jamie.
Happy birthday. I wanted to tell you that.
Justin, real quick forecast?
You're welcome.
Yeah, temperatures being in the 70s today, beautiful day, sunny skies. We'll see sunny skies tomorrow. Then that cold front Saturday. Get ready for some gusty winds Saturday morning. That's going to be the big takeaway there, and a little cooler too.
Okay. Yep. Thank you very much for that. Happy birthday to Jamie, and we have more coverage of the President press conference and our later newscasts.